Hi guys and welcome back. My name is Amanda for those of you who are new to the channel. For those of you that have been here before, welcome back, and to family, hello. So it's spring here in southeast Queensland and that means a lot more outdoor alfresco dining sort of happens and snacking instead of having meals inside generally because of the heat of the day. So I'm going to make some salsa, and I've got some hummus that I also need to blitz up as well, but I'm going to be working on the salsa because I've got lots of tomatoes from the garden. I plan on water bathing the salsa, although I'm not quite sure yet. I've already cooked my salsa yesterday and I've just left it in the fridge overnight just so its flavours can all blend together because there is chilies and cayenne peppers and things in it. And then I just need to blitz it up just to get the right texture. If it's too thin, I'm going to be adding some tomato paste and some other ingredients to it depending on how it tastes. And then also we'll be water bathing it. So let's go. All right, so I'm going to use a blender to blend it. I'm just going to do a rough chop. I'm not going to do it too fine. If you've got a food processor, that would be fine. I just want to reduce the texture. So it has got onions, garlic, tomatoes, spices, vinegar, sugar, etc. I just want to change that texture from that quite coarse texture into something easier to pop a cracker into and take a dip. So I'll just blend this up. So this is going into our NutriBullet blender, which is quite a high powerful blender, so I don't want to over process it, so I'm just going to do it on a low speed and a pulse. Okay, 10 pulses with the blitzer. Check its dippability. Yeah, so that's fine, just checking its taste. All right, it needs some more heat. I'm going to make this probably a medium to hot blend. Okay, so I did a little bit more checking with my recipe books. Old-fashioned books all tell me that I can safely water bath canvas, and I previously would normally do so. And I do have vinegar in it, so I have changed the acidity of the tomato sauce. But I can also pressure can it for 15 minutes, and the pressure canner is currently on the stove anyway, so I figured why not, we'll just pressure can them. I am going to be gifting some of these as well. So they do have 15-minute processing time in a pressure canner once it comes up to pressure for half-pint jars. So these are my half-pint jars. These are half of a half-pint jars, 120 ml, and these little ones I'll be doing a few of them as well because, like I said, I was going to be gifting some of these, and so I'll start filling the small ones first. We're getting close to Christmas, I think it's like 100 days, and I want to do up some baskets for friends and family of projects. So why not? Let's just do some pressure canning as well. So I'm just going to fill my jars up, debubble them, wipe all the rims down, make sure that they have got the correct headspace, which in this case is a 1/2 inch of headspace, not the full inch that we quite often use when we're pressure canning. So just ensuring that they've got the right headspace, lids are going on, nice new cleaned lids, and into the pressure canner. Come back once these are filled. Okay, all filled. Just going to wipe around their rims. I've left the 1/2 inch headspace, checked all of the measurements, and just adjusted to make sure that they're all the same in different jars. They all have got a different level that they're filled at. Just debubbling final time. I've already tapped them all down to try to get all of any bubbles out from down the bottom. Ran around with the bubbling tool as well. That the bubbling tool being since we're using a sauce, more of a liquidy sauce, there seems to be quite, and I've used the blender as well to blitz this up and then cooked it on the stove. There's some little fine bubbles mixed in. So normally I would let this sit for a little while, but giving it a tap down helps to bring those bubbles up from the bottom of the jar and stops any air pockets that will form, which then could cause some problems with sealing of these jars, obviously, as well. So another precaution just to make sure when we're doing the canning. Not so much of an issue with water bath canning, but if I'm pressure canning, it obviously is a bit more of an issue. We don't want any of those trapped air bubbles beneath the surface, which could then cause the seals to fail once you go to all the hard work of growing and then cooking and preparing all of your own sauces or meals or salsas, as is the case this time. Don't want to lose any, and because I will be gifting about 5 of these jars, I would say. That's what I count on. But these get shared with family as well, so they don't stay on the shelves for a particularly long period of time. Shelf life's, like with anything, about 12 months. There's salsas on the shelf here that are older than 12 months, but they have been done with vinegar and are perfectly fine. They were hot packed just like these ones were. My water canner is just coming up to temperature now, so I'm just going to get some new flats for these ones. So we've got wide and standard. So like most canners, we have a backup supply of all of our accessories that we use, our lids, our rings, etc. Rings, there's always excess rings. But any ring failures, any rings that are damaged or rusting, just go straight in the bin. Any that I have problems getting onto jars, just go straight in the bin, because they usually are a little bit warped, and sometimes it's difficult for the eye to notice that warping, so I discard them. Now, I did just open up some jars earlier this week. I'll show you. I was not impressed. These are some flats that have come off some soup that had been pressure canned, and it wasn't even a high acid soup. It was just a vegetable soup with some ham in it. But when I opened them, because of this rusting beneath the surface on these, or pitting it's called, on the lids, I discarded those soups and discarded all of those soups. They were probably all fine, and people will tell you they are all perfectly fine still to consume. I don't think so. So I discarded them, like I said. These are just lug lids, and they can be sourced at different places as well. These ones are getting reused. I have used these for apples. I know you're not supposed to, but they are lug lids. And so they fit this particular jar, and they're a really difficult lid to find. In the event these ones don't seal, that's okay. They're just going to go straight back in the refrigerator, but they are the pop-down lids, which is good. So I'll know if any of the seals have failed with them. And there is just 3 of them, so they'll probably go in the fridge for us. Okay, the others are all just going to get their rings put on, finger tight, because they're going into the pressure canner. See what I mean by sometimes it's, there you go, that's better. It's just the way that I'm threading it, because the rings that come with each of the jars are great, but when you separate your rings out, if you don't mark your rings specifically sometimes to the brand, I find they can be really difficult to get on a competitor's brand. Sometimes I find it really difficult with Kilner jars in particular. They're wide mouth jars. Some of the smaller jars, not so much, but definitely I find it with the wide mouth jars. These are Kilner small mouth jars, or standard mouth, so they're not so bad. It just seems to be the wide mouth that I have problems with. So I usually go back and find the Kilner rings, which are usually easy to identify because they're gold. So they always go straight back on the jars without any problems, but the competitors' rings seem to be a bit more difficult to put on. Yep, we'll keep going. All right, into the canner. Bring them up to pressure, 15 minutes, and we've got some salsa. How good does that look? Oops, Lily dropped it. Alrighty, into the canner, they're ready to go. So I've got 3, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 jars. Not bad. Okay, so I've fit all 11 in the bottom of my canner. It's just coming up to temperature, so I'm just going to put the lid on and just process this for 15 minutes once it comes to pressure, and then we'll come back and have a look at them once they've been cooked. But you've already seen how lovely they look. I'm sure they'll be perfectly fine. I'll just put a picture on the end of the video just after they've cooled down and I've checked all the seals. Thanks for watching again. Bye now.